Good afternoon and welcome, punters and dribblers, traders and investors, to another podcast from Traders Community, brought to you by traderscommunity.com. We have the glorious Madhavi here and Meta Johnny. We couldn't come up with a new name, so here as well. So we're going to go through today's market. It was pretty well a doldrums type Monday. But the themes really was today, as you can see, Amazon. So the mega caps really were the leaders today as far as the market goes, as far as the stock market goes, I should say. With Tesla up, they finished up only about 1%, but they were up more after Elon Musk clarified that the total headcount will increase this year, even though salaried staff is up to remain flat. Remember, he came out, they're looking at reducing the workforce by 10%. So, not sure what that means. Amazon was up strong because it went 20 for 1 split this morning. Apple was also up. A lot of these were a lot higher in the morning because they have their worldwide developers conference today. So that kind of got it up, but we closed back down when... so basically what I saw, if you look at the highs and lows, were a lot of the real punter and dribbler type stocks that don't make a lot of money, still making it. As far as indexes go, most of the market was up, however. The only thing down was energy, which is interesting when I saw a lot of energy stocks hitting 52-week highs, but it was only down marginally. It was down like... let me have a look. 0.1%. Real estate was down 0.3%. And obviously the mega caps were the other ones. As far as bond markets go, so this is what you want to keep a real eye on. So remember, I've cautioned before, the kind of the better traders, or where the serious money goes, or because they're so deep, it tends to be currencies and bonds. So they tend to see it a little bit earlier. What we're seeing is the dollar yen again. And if you saw on the website, there was a whole rundown each week on the foreign exchange market, the currency markets. And one of the highlight comment was about the Japanese yen. Well, that hit another 20-year high today. The relevance of that is it's happening because of the spreads. So the spread is widening between dollar yen and obviously the US dollar, but it's a lot to do with the currency spread, right? So to give you an idea how far the dollar yen's gone, it's raised just since the 24th, 578 pips on foreign exchange. So that's a big movement on that currency. And so that's also to do with risk, order flow, money flows. So just think what that's going on while the punters and dribblers are arguing, the stock market, they don't want to miss out these companies. So that's relevant. Also, bonds weakened, which meant yields weakened today. Right? So, again, you've got these warning signs out there. Further down the week, we have inflation out in the US. We have a series of central banks. We did have one dribbler in today saying that doesn't matter. It does, because it affects across the curve. So we have ECB, we have RBA, and we have others. We'll have Russia more than likely decreases again, where they kind of got that fake ruble thing going on. So they need to do that. So as far as central banks go, so that's going to affect things. Okay, let's go what we got today. Oil was over 120 this morning, almost 121. On news that the Saudis are going to increase their price of oil to Asia. Profit taking came in, as it always does, and we closed just under 119. S&P 4120 failed again. Remember, it's well off, and we'll get through that. The weekly tanking. Natgas had its biggest rise since February. So it was up about 10% again in February. So it was up 9 odd today. 933. That's just over the weekend. So if you think the government's in control, energy policy, or it's not going to affect you, just think how much all the focus is on oil going up. Natural gas has gone up from roughly $2 to $9.30 pretty quickly. You need that for all your energy, power your, everything from electric cars to your washing machine, basically, your factories, etc. Nasdaq 12,590. Vol tried to get some legs today, didn't. Let's go to a 10-minute chart, and the Russell 2000 1889. So let's look at these with a bit more depth. So where is the S&P? But we're going to look at bonds first because I wanted to show you what I was just talking about. So it finally broke. This is yields. Finally broke down. Bonds broke down. Yields up. See that little wedge had been building. And here's the key what you got to get. Look how fast the dollar yen went up. Look how fast oil went up. Look how fast natural gas went up. And here we are, bonds going down. These movements are fast and furious. And it just shows you the system. I mean, there was 10 billion, I think, today on the bills done today. That's a lot of money. The system has issues. And there you can see more specifically how bonds actually broke down, if you prefer that. And it got under this low back at the start of May, or about the 17th of May, actually, not the start. Close enough, right? Okay, so moving back to what we want to look at is the indexes. So Russell, look what it's sticking. It's sticking around this weekly tanking. Right? Remember what it does here. So we're going to keep an eye on whether this pulls away. If this rallies, bear market rallies tend to go more than what you think sometimes. If this can hold here, it can get up and retest 2,000 where that Cajun is. Just keep your mind open to that. We know everything's crap. As far as daily, remember the support is this daily Cajun. It had another go at it today. I went through this a bit with Johnny today. You can see, look at all this work. And if you go to the weekly, you can see it didn't even get to the tanking. Now, the reason I'm saying that, look at how perfect it did it on the S&P. So now you've had two perfect sells. As long as this holds, that can mean this is complete, right? And it has some downside pressure. So that's your S&P. On the daily, little bit different. See, if we just look at the S&P, the Nasdaq, that was going across. Okay. Anything you want to add on the futures, Madavi, mate? The NAS or anything? You there?
Yeah. Yep. Right here. I didn't do much today. I mean, it's kind of a dribbler day.
It's just toe choppy.
Yeah. So, not much. Just stay put where I was. I have some longs to protect my shorts, so that's about it.
Yeah. I mean, the way I kind of look at it, when it's sideways market, we caution it can't go up too high. It can go up higher than what you thought. Maybe it's already at that level. So all we have is a small short off that weekly tanking, which 85% of the time that'll work, right? It's at 15% you're protecting. So you want to see impulse down, and then it can tell you that sideways is over. But yeah, I agree 100%. Okay, let's get on to, before we get on energy, let's look at crypto. Crypto got the death warrant over the last couple of weeks by bankers and punters. But what it has done after it looked like it was all dying when the stock markets were rallying down to 29,000, it's actually put in a pretty good bounce to 31.3. You can see that on the hourly. If you look at the weekly, it's still really doing just a pennant, right? And more than likely, this pattern, the tanking, comes down to meet it rather than that going up. We'll see how that develops. Just keep an eye on that because you want it. That's relevant with all the speculation going on. Okay, what really matters right now is energy. So let's look at oil first. Oil, that rising wedge still in play, just up very nicely. Each little bit pulls back just a tad. So you can do a little pennant here. Really, as you can see, it's just dribbling up. This is weekly too. So it's a 3 or a 5. Just keep it that simple. As far as daily goes, you can see a little bit more clearly. So when you get these big spits, look at what happens after it. So that's the market getting short or getting out of their longs. but we're just powering up. And what's happening is it's doing it very orderly. So the Chico, this blue line, is telling you how orderly it is, right? So does it get up and retest this 125.64 or even higher? So you want to, when you're actually trading it, look short term, obviously, and you see what's working. So you can see it's been bouncing off this 50 moving average. Like 1, 2, this is a green line, okay? It gets very choppy on that. You can see it's consolidating between 7/8 and it actually got to 3/8, so that's a 4/8 move, right? So remember, off those waves, if it doesn't get impulse, it's telling you it's building to do something else. Okay, so here's the big one. Natural gas was up almost 10% today over the weekend. And remember, it gapped up. So there is a gap here. Remember, so unless you have to hedge, it's a real dangerous game when weather, let alone what's going on now, is playing. So we are actually at 52-week highs. 20-year highs we saw on yen. On here, this was... do you remember what I said, Madhav? It was at 2008. I'm pretty sure. Maybe 2000. Anyway, that's a long-term high. I'll go back and check that. Let's see if it shows up on the weekly. But no, it's on my other system. But anyway, the point being, we almost got to this 305, right? So remember, it's a 305. So if this starts launching above here, you got to be aware that it could be this type of action. But you're in real speculative nature. This is a scared market coupled with speculators coming in trying to take advantage of it. So that's why you're getting these dollar moves. These are dollar plus moves in a week. These are the highest points out there too. So if you're like a stock trader or something, stock futures, this is next level. So be aware of that. Okay, so really nothing much more to add than that. On the 5-minute chart, you can see the big move happened, then it just goes sideways for the rest of the day. So a lot of that's optionality and a scared market. Okay, let's look at, is there any stocks you want to look at? Not really, right? Real sideways day. Let's have a quick look at Apple Weekly. So this hasn't adjusted yet. It may take a day. It's probably because it's weekly at the end of the day. But you can see let me see if I can find a 1-minute chart. No, so even 1 minute. Wow, look at that, Madhavi. So everything's distorted until that fiddles in, so we're not going to bother with that. We got to wait for those charts to adjust. So Apple... and you can see this is a pattern, right? There's so many that have never seen a bear market. So this gaps up. Remember, Apple fell $5 or so on Friday from their issues, legal issues. And then straight away they buy it again, almost a full thing. So $4. And look what it did, just sold off all the way from 148 down to 144. So there's just a constant churning of all this stuff. Again, it's algorithms have no feelings, right? And that's really it. I don't think there's much else worth going through, is there? So we kind of covered all those things. We don't want to bore you too long. Tomorrow we have the trade numbers coming out. The US trade numbers, I believe. Let me have a quick look. Remember, this is all on the website. So earnings-wise tomorrow... ASO, so that's Academy out of Houston actually, which is a big sports store. They were a new IPO last year. Cracker Barrel, that's restaurants from down here. Play is Dave & Buster's. I'm not sure who GII is. Momo, not sure. I think that's Smuckers, SJM. UNFI's Food. So that's all pre-market, and there's a lot that I'm not. So they're kind of the smaller stocks. Out all week at this time of the year. Is there anyone? Thor, maybe a trader on Wednesday. That seems about it. Billy made trade on Thursday. It's Chinese stock. NIO is another Chinese one. And Doco. So, okay, as far as tomorrow goes, you got the trade balance. So that was a record last time it came out. You have a 3-year note auction and consumer credit. So not much out tomorrow. The market is really setting up for things like the RBA, I believe, is out tonight. Then ECB's out on Thursday. So that's what's going to affect interest rates. We already went through currencies and bonds. That's what you got to be aware of. They're going to be your thing that they're going to talk about after the move happens. So stick to your discipline. Watch it. So that's all from me. Anything to add, Madavi, mate?
No, that's it. It's pretty non-event day besides Amazon and a couple of little teeny stocks.
Right. And so just be wary of some of this stuff that's going on. You're going to get some secondaries. We were going through that earlier with one of our mates. How well some of these companies did it. It's not just the big ones like AMC and GME. Just brilliant, really. If people are going to buy them, then they're going to sell them, right? It's not as if it's being pumped. Those weren't being pumped up by them. So go through there. Everything's here on the Outlook. You got all the charts and everything. You should have a game plan already, so you're not worried about the intraday moves. You kind of know where you are on the charts, and you're following it accordingly. There's also the FX Weekly Outlook, which is very important. Here's an interesting story out today you probably want to look at. And this happened right at the top. Passive funds, for the first time ever, overtook active funds. So how many people finally got into it right at the top, right? And here's one of the big ones, RK. Look at that. So that went from 160 to $40. So it's losing 75% of the value. That's pretty impressive. Anyway, love us, leave us. If you like what we got, do us a favor, like and subscribe. That all helps the algorithms. Any questions, shoot us a message on one of the social media platforms we're on. So we will catch you later. Good luck. Enjoy. Beware of the pitfalls in this market. All of a sudden, you're going to get a lot of talk about inflation and currencies and stuff. And, of course, natural gas and oil. Okay, bye now. Catch it.